Hi, my name is Annette Sisson, and I'm talking to you today about my poem titled Butterfly Effect. So, my husband and I are both Wendell Berry fans, and we read a lot of Wendell Berry, but he is really an environmental communication person, and so he reads more environmental material than I do. And I don't remember where this conversation began, probably with some book he was reading or an article, and he was telling me about the situation that happened on the Indian subcontinent, the ripple effects of introducing a medication that was helpful to the livestock, to the large livestock. It actually addressed the problems, but because it touched a thread in the ecosystem, it had devastating effects for all kinds of life, including human life. I tried to write this poem several times because it just really captured my imagination, and it was just such a powerfully terrible story about how we really don't know the effects of our actions many times. So I couldn't make the poem work, and then I drafted this version. I gave it some time and I drafted this version. I'm sometimes a narrative poet, but mostly a lyric poet. And this poem was so heavy, which seemed appropriate because it's a heavy topic, but it was so prosaic, and I was really in the weeds with the poem, like all the details. And so it wasn't really working. So I held on to it and I kept coming back to it and trying to figure out what was essential to tell the story, and how could I make it just a little bit more lyrical and poetic. And it was a long process. It was months long. And before I sent this poem to West Trade Review, I took it out one last time and made like three final changes. And when I finished them, I thought, I think I've got it. And so I was delighted when West Trade Review accepted this poem. So I'll read it now. It's called Butterfly Effect. On the Indian subcontinent, veterinarians recommend diclofenac for cows with tender udders, sheep with feet scald, goats with soft tissue tears. The treated herds mend, die natural deaths. Vultures scavenge, their population drains away under a blood moon, kidneys destroyed by traces of drug. Without birds of prey, carcasses rot in fields. Bacteria surges, taints water supplies. Packs of feral dogs rove, rabies spikes, unravels nervous systems. Orthodox Parsis pursue sky burial, but too few buzzards remain to strip the corpses resting in silent towers. 500,000 skeletons to process, pestilent cycles across arid landscapes, spirals like a double helix, swirling galaxies of dust.